Hello and welcome back to HistoryHub. We are going to be discussing a very dark and disturbing topic. Torture is something that has been used throughout history to extract information as a form of punishment or simply to inflict pain and suffering. And what makes it even more unsettling is the great amount of effort and creativity put into the creation of the torture method designed to inflict maximum pain to its victim. So without further ado, let's dive into the top 10 most brutal torture techniques in history. 1. The Brazen Bull was an ancient torture and execution device that was invented in Greece during the 6th century BC. It was designed in the shape of a bull, hence its name. The device was made entirely of bronze and had a door on its side for the victim to be pushed inside. Once entry was made, a fire was set underneath the bull, which heated up the metal until it became red hot with flames coming out of its nostrils. The person inside the Brazen Bull was essentially cooked alive, and the screams they made were transformed into music that emerged from the device's mouth. The Brazen Bull was invented by a man named Perillos, who presented it to the ruler of Greece at that time, Phalaris. Phalaris was impressed with the invention and ordered that Perillos be put inside to test it out. However, after seeing the horrific effects of the Brazen Bull firsthand, he ordered that Perillos be taken out before he was killed and then banned its use, although some historians believe that it was still used in secret. 2. The Heretics Fork. It is a long, narrow metal fork with two sharp prongs that were placed on a person's neck under their chin. The purpose of this torture was to force the accused to confess their perceived heretical beliefs. The Heretics Fork was typically attributed to the Spanish Inquisition, which began in 1478, when non-Catholics were subjected to brutal punishments in order to maintain religious conformity. The torture was created with the intention of being used against those who were considered to be heretics or had deviated from the Catholic teachings. The earliest known examples of the Heretics Fork in Europe date back to the 16th century. 3. Impalement, also known as the wooden stake torture, was a gruesome form of execution and torture practiced in various cultures throughout history. It typically involved inserting a long, sharp object such as a wooden stake or pole through the victim's body, often resulting in death. The origins of impalement can be traced back to ancient times, but it was particularly prevalent during the medieval period. The Ottoman Empire is most commonly associated with impalement as a method of torture. Impalement was believed to comply with Sharia law, which called for extreme punishments against heretics and traitors. 4. Neck torture, also known as the collar or neck brace torture, was a highly cruel method of punishment that has been used throughout history. It was designed to inflict excruciating pain and discomfort on the victim, while also depriving them of their ability to move their head or neck freely. The origins of neck torture are not definitively known, but it has been documented as far back as medieval times in Europe. The primary purpose of neck torture was to punish individuals who had committed crimes such as heresy, treason, and blasphemy. The collar torture was often used against political prisoners, religious dissidents, and other individuals who challenged the authority of rulers or the church. It is unclear who specifically invented neck torture, but it was widely used by various societies throughout history. 5. The tub. This torture method involved forcing the victim to sit in a small container with their feet and hands tightly bound and repeatedly pouring water over them. Its first victim was believed to be a suspected witch during the Salem witch trials. 6. Coffin torture. This torture method involved placing the victim inside a cramped barrel or coffin and leaving them there until they confessed or died. Its first victim was believed to be a pirate during the 17th century. 7. Iron Maiden. This torture method involved forcing the victim inside a spiked metal device and slowly closing the doors, piercing through their body. Its first victim was believed to be a prisoner in Nuremberg during the 16th century. 8. Lead sprinkler. This torture method involved pouring molten lead over the victim's body. Its first victim was likely a heretic during the Inquisition. 9. Guillotine. This torture and execution method would decapitate prisoners by a large, weighted blade dropped onto the victim's neck. Its first victim was believed to be a highwayman during the French Revolution. 10. The rack. This torture method involved stretching the victim's limbs on a rack, causing dislocations and sometimes even amputations. Its first victim was believed to be a prisoner during the medieval times. Now, I know this was a very disturbing topic, but it's important to know and remember the horrors of our past. I advise you to watch a part 2, which will be coming soon. Thank you for watching, and please, take a moment to reflect on the atrocities and pain inflicted by these brutal torture techniques.